For centuries, the Stoics mastered not just the art of endurance and self-discipline, but also an understanding of human nature, including the often mysterious psychology of women. They knew that a sharp, perceptive mind can read subtle signs that others may overlook. Women, in particular, have an intricate way of communicating interest without speaking outright. If you've ever wondered whether she's waiting for you to make the first move, there's good news: she might be giving off more signals than you realize. These signals are small, almost imperceptible, unless you know exactly what to look for. Stay tuned because, in this video, I'm going to break down 7 key signs that women exhibit when they're waiting for you to take action. Watch till the end to ensure you don't miss the subtle cues she might be sending your way. And before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you've ever experienced these signs or have a story to share. Let's jump in. Chapter 1. Her feet are pointed at you. It might sound trivial at first, but trust me, the direction of her feet can reveal more than you think. While we often look for signs in facial expressions or the way she's sitting, there's a whole language happening beneath the surface. This is one of the most primal, subconscious signals she can give. So why the feet? The answer lies in their authenticity. Unlike hands or facial expressions, which people can control or mask with ease, feet are often overlooked and, thus, act as an honest body part. This means they tend to reveal how someone truly feels. When you see her feet pointed at you, whether she's sitting or standing, this is her body's way of sending you a clear message: you have my attention. The Stoics, those masters of human observation, would have taken note of this silent cue. They understood that much of our human interactions are governed by the unspoken, by what we communicate without ever uttering a word. To the Stoics, understanding these body language signs was key to navigating human relationships with grace and wisdom. A Stoic might say, "What one does not say, they still communicate," and that includes the direction in which their feet are pointed. Feet, because of their subconscious nature, tend to betray what we're truly feeling. When someone is engaged and interested, their entire body subtly shifts in your direction. It's as though their feet are leading them toward you, even if they haven't yet realized it. Think about the implications here. She may be maintaining her composure, engaging in casual conversation, even laughing at something trivial. But if her feet are directed toward you, she's not just being polite. Her body is showing you where her real interest lies. It's a primal form of communication that cuts through all the noise. Her feet are literally pointing her toward the object of her attention, you. This isn't just something to notice when you're alone with her. It becomes even more revealing in a group setting. If she's surrounded by friends, in the middle of a lively conversation, and yet her feet are still pointed at you, that's a strong indicator that, amidst the chaos, you're the one who has captivated her interest. The feet are, in a way, like a compass pointing toward what she truly desires, even when her words or actions might not make it obvious. Let's take it a step further. Imagine you're at a social event. She's talking to her friends, smiling and laughing, but her feet are angled toward you, the one across the room. Her body is betraying her, showing that her attention is on you despite the distractions. This is the kind of thing that a Stoic observer, sharp and perceptive, would have noticed immediately. They understood the importance of watching not just what people say, but what they do unconsciously. And if her feet point toward you, she's giving you a signal that most people would miss entirely. But here's where things get even more intriguing. What happens if her feet are pointed away? What if, even though she's laughing and smiling with you, her feet are angled toward the door or toward someone else? Well, my friend, this is a sign you can't afford to ignore. If her feet are pointing away from you, toward the exit or another person, she might be signaling that she's not as engaged as her facial expressions or words suggest. It's her subconscious mind making an exit strategy, even if the rest of her is trying to maintain appearances. She's communicating her disinterest without saying a single word. You see, the beauty of this signal is in its subtlety. It's not something obvious like a lingering touch or a direct flirtatious remark. Instead, it's a small, subconscious behavior that most people would never even think to look for. But once you start noticing it, you'll realize just how often it occurs and how telling it can be. If you're ever unsure about where you stand with her, don't focus on her words or even her facial expressions. Take a quick glance at her feet. Are they directed at you, or are they pointing away? If they're angled toward you, it's her body's way of pulling you into her space, her world. She may be waiting for you to pick up on this sign and make your move. And let's not forget the inverse. If her feet are turned away, especially when paired with other distancing behaviors, it's a clear indication that her interest may not be as strong as you hoped. This is not a guarantee of disinterest, but it's a cue to proceed with caution. Remember, just as the Stoics would say, everything has a reason, and that includes body language. If she's open to you, her feet will show it. If not, they'll point the way out. So, the next time you're with her and trying to gauge her feelings, don't just rely on what she's saying or how she's smiling. Take a second to check her feet. If they're aimed in your direction, it's a sign she feels drawn to you. But if they're angled toward the door or another person, you might want to rethink your strategy. It's the smallest details, like this one, that often reveal the most. The Stoics knew that to read human nature correctly, you must learn to observe what is not being said, and this is exactly what watching her feet can teach you. Chapter 2, she mentions she has free time. Now, this one may seem innocent at first glance, but it's a classic and often overlooked invitation. When a woman casually mentions that she has some free time, she's not just stating a fact. She's opening a door for you to step through. This isn't something she tells everyone, nor is it a random throwaway line. When she tells you she's free, it's a sign she's waiting for you to suggest doing something together. In ancient Stoicism, the concept of kairos, the right or opportune moment, was essential. The Stoics believed in observing the present carefully, acting with precision when the right moment appeared. Women often communicate their interest in subtle, indirect ways, and mentioning that they're free is one of those moments. The Stoic observer would recognize this as an opportunity, a signal to act wisely and confidently. When she says something like, "I don't have any plans this weekend," or "I'll be free after work," she's handing you a golden opportunity on a silver platter. She's essentially creating an opening for you to make a move. It's a delicate balance. She doesn't want to be too forward, but she also wants to give you a clear enough hint that you know it's safe to ask her out. In many ways, this is her version of saying, "I'm available, now it's your turn to do something about it." But here's the key, timing is everything. If she mentions her free time and you let it slip by without taking action, it's not just a missed opportunity, it's a signal to her that you're not interested or confident enough to take the lead. She's testing the waters, gauging whether you'll pick up on her cue. If you don't, she may start to lose interest, thinking you're either uninterested or too indecisive. Remember, Stoicism teaches us to act decisively when the moment arises. This is one of those moments. And it's not just about the words she uses, it's also about how she says them. Pay attention to her tone. If she's casually mentioning her free time, almost as if she's waiting for you to jump in and say, "Let's do something," then that's your green light. If you don't take the bait, she might move on to someone who will. Women rarely hand out such obvious signals, so when she does, you need to be ready to act. But here's where things get tricky. Not every mention of free time is an invitation. It's crucial to read the context. If she's talking about how busy she is with work and suddenly says, "I have some free time coming up," but it's framed in a way that feels more like a complaint about her schedule than an invitation, she might just be venting. In this case, your best move is to listen and empathize rather than jump in with a date suggestion. However, when her free time mention feels more casual and open-ended, she's likely testing your ability to seize the moment. For example, she might say, "I don't have any plans this weekend," while looking at you expectantly or waiting for your response. This is where the Stoic wisdom of discernment comes in. You need to understand when to act and when to hold back, and the tone and context of her words will guide you. If her mention of free time seems like a gift, don't leave it unopened. Here's a little secret: the more you delay in recognizing this signal, the less interested she'll become. Women who like you won't always put themselves out there, and if they do, they'll only do it for so long. Once she starts feeling that her subtle invitations aren't being picked up, she may start pulling back emotionally. No one likes feeling ignored, especially when they've given you a clear signal that they're available. So, when she mentions that she has some free time, consider it a subtle yet significant nudge in your direction. It's her way of saying, "I'm waiting for you to make the next move." The ball is in your court. In the same way that a Stoic philosopher would recognize a fleeting opportunity to act with wisdom and virtue, you must recognize her mention of free time as the perfect moment to take action. Don't hesitate. Act confidently and make plans with her. If you don't, someone else will. Chapter 3, she drops hints about what she enjoys doing. One of the more clever ways women signal their interest is by dropping hints about their hobbies and favorite activities. When she starts talking about what she enjoys doing in her free time, she's not just making conversation, she's giving you valuable information on how to win her over. This isn't just small talk, it's an opportunity for you to learn what makes her tick and, more importantly, how you can align yourself with her interests. The Stoics believed in paying close attention to the details, understanding that in the small things, we often find the greatest truths. In the same way, a woman might not come out and say, "I want to spend time with you." Instead, she'll tell you about the things she loves doing. This is a breadcrumb trail, a series of clues leading you toward making a connection. If you can pick up on these hints, you'll have a roadmap to her heart. For example, she might say, "I love hiking, but I haven't gone in a while," or "There's this great coffee shop I've been wanting to check out." On the surface, these might seem like casual comments. But in reality, she's giving you the keys to create an experience she'll enjoy, one that involves you. If you're paying attention, you'll realize that she's not just making random conversation. She's offering you a chance to invite her out to do something she loves. Stoic wisdom teaches us that life is about action. It's not enough to simply hear what she's saying, you must act on it. If she mentions that she loves hiking, your next move should be obvious: suggest a hiking trip. If she talks about a particular restaurant or activity she enjoys, propose that you go together. This shows her that you're not only listening, but also taking initiative, two traits that will instantly set you apart from other guys who might just nod along without ever taking action. But here's the thing, dropping hints isn't just about what she loves to do, it's also about what she's inviting you into. When a woman talks about her hobbies and interests, she's testing whether or not you'll be a part of her world. She's giving you an opening to join her in something she enjoys, creating a shared experience that can bring you closer together. Ignoring these hints can make her feel like you're not interested in connecting on a deeper level. The Stoic observer would never let such a moment pass by. And, of course, timing matters. You don't want to jump in too eagerly or force an invitation. But when she drops a hint about something she enjoys doing, and it feels like the right moment, seize the opportunity. If you delay or seem disinterested, she may feel like her effort to engage with you isn't reciprocated. And as we know, once a woman feels like she's being ignored or her hints are going unnoticed, she'll start to lose interest. So, what should you do? Pay attention. When she talks about her hobbies, she's giving you the chance to bond over shared experiences. Don't let those moments slip by. Whether it's hiking, cooking, or visiting a favorite spot in town, take the opportunity to suggest doing it together. It's these shared moments that create deeper connections and signal to her that you're ready to make a move. Chapter 4. She fixes her clothes or jewelry around you. Have you ever noticed her subtly adjusting her clothes, brushing off invisible dust, or fidgeting with her jewelry when she's around you? If so, she might be sending you a signal that she's attracted to you. When a woman fixes her appearance in your presence, it's usually because she wants to look her best for you. This is an instinctive, almost subconscious action that speaks volumes about her feelings. In Stoic philosophy, much emphasis is placed on the subtle signs of human behavior, on observing the actions that others might miss. Fixing her clothes or jewelry is one of those small yet significant gestures that reveal her true intentions. It's not just about making sure she looks good, it's about making sure you notice that she looks good. It's a display of self-awareness and a desire for your attention. Let's break this down. When she adjusts her necklace, smooths out her shirt, or fixes her hair, she's not doing it for just anyone. She's doing it because she knows you're watching. This behavior often occurs when she's feeling a little nervous, excited, or both, common emotions when someone is attracted to you. It's her way of saying, "I want to look perfect for you," without actually saying it. This is one of those subtle signs that's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. A Stoic would never let such a detail escape their notice. They would understand that in the smallest actions, there's often the greatest meaning. So, the next time you see her fiddling with her bracelet or straightening her dress, don't just brush it off as meaningless. Recognize it for what it is, a sign that she's trying to impress you. But it's not just about vanity or appearance. Fixing her clothes or jewelry can also be a sign of nervousness or excitement around you. When a woman likes you, she often becomes more self-conscious. She wants to make sure she looks good because she's aware that your eyes are on her. This heightened awareness can lead to those small adjustments, those subtle movements that signal she's thinking about how she looks in your presence. And it doesn't stop at clothes or jewelry. If she's fixing her hair, adjusting her posture, or even reapplying lip balm when she's near you, she's making sure she's presenting herself in the best possible way. These little actions speak volumes about her attraction and her desire for you to notice her. It's her way of saying, "I care about how I look because I care about what you think of me." Remember, women often express themselves in ways that are far more subtle than men. While you might be waiting for a grand gesture or an obvious flirtation, she's likely communicating through these small, almost imperceptible signs. Don't miss them. When she adjusts her clothes, her jewelry, or her appearance around you, she's telling you she's interested. It's a silent invitation for you to make a move. Chapter 5. She finds a way to touch you. Touch is one of the most powerful ways humans communicate, especially when it comes to attraction. When a woman is attracted to you, she will often find subtle ways to touch you. This could be as simple as brushing her hand against yours, playfully tapping your arm, or giving you a friendly hug that lingers just a little longer than usual. These small touches are her way of closing the physical gap between you two, signaling that she's comfortable and interested. The Stoics knew that touch carried deep meaning. In fact, physical proximity and the willingness to touch someone were seen as significant indicators of human connection. Stoic philosophy teaches us to be mindful of not just what people say, but what they do, especially when it comes to the subtleties of physical interaction. A woman who touches you, even lightly, is breaking the invisible barrier of personal space. This is no small thing. When she finds ways to touch you, she's communicating on a level that goes beyond words. She's testing the waters, seeing how you'll react to her touch. Will you reciprocate? Will you pull away? How you respond to these subtle touches will often determine the next step in your interaction. A Stoic would understand that these touches are invitations, and they would approach them with awareness and intention. For example, she might casually place her hand on your arm when she's laughing or tap your shoulder to get your attention. These aren't accidental touches, they're deliberate actions meant to create a connection. She's waiting to see if you'll pick up on her signals and reciprocate, perhaps by gently touching her back in a playful or affectionate way. But it's not just about physical contact. It's about the type of touch. If she's playfully touching you or finding excuses to be physically close, she's signaling that she's comfortable and open to more intimacy. Touch is her way of closing the emotional and physical distance between you, and it's a powerful sign that she wants you to take things further. Now, this is where your Stoic discernment comes into play. Not all touch is created equal, and you need to be mindful of the context. If she's touching you in a friendly, casual way, it might just be her personality. But if those touches start to linger, if she finds more excuses to touch you as the conversation progresses, that's a sign of growing attraction. The Stoics taught that in every action, there's intention. When a woman touches you, there's almost always a reason behind it. It's up to you to interpret it correctly. If you miss these subtle cues, you risk missing out on an opportunity to deepen your connection. So the next time she brushes your arm or taps your shoulder, take it as a sign. She's not just being friendly, she's waiting for you to make a move. Chapter 6. She finds a way to talk with you. Conversation is the foundation of any relationship, but when a woman is interested in you, the way she engages in conversation can tell you a lot. If she consistently finds ways to talk to you, even about the most trivial things, it's not an accident. She's creating opportunities to connect, hoping you'll pick up on the cue and engage with her more deeply. In Stoic philosophy, communication, whether verbal or non-verbal, was a key tool for understanding and building relationships. A Stoic would observe not just what is being said, but the intention behind it. When a woman is drawn to you, she doesn't just make conversation for the sake of it. Each interaction is a subtle dance, a way for her to gauge your interest and draw you closer. It might start with simple questions like "How's your day going?" or "What did you do this weekend?" These are not just generic inquiries, they're openings for you to build rapport and deepen the connection. The Stoics were keen observers of human behavior, and they would recognize this as a moment to engage thoughtfully and intentionally. Pay attention to how often she initiates these conversations. If she goes out of her way to talk to you, even about small things, it's a strong sign she wants to keep the connection alive. Women often use conversation as a way to gauge whether the other person is interested, so if she's continually finding reasons to talk to you, she's offering you a bridge toward deeper interaction. It's her way of saying, "I want to get to know you better." And it's not just about frequency. Listen to the content of the conversation. She may ask you questions about yourself, subtly trying to learn more about your life, your interests, and your values. This is her way of exploring compatibility, of seeing if there's a deeper connection beyond just physical attraction. Stoics believed that true connection was built on shared values and mutual understanding, and this is exactly what she's looking for through conversation. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Watch how she responds when you talk. Does she lean in when you're speaking? Does she seem genuinely interested in what you're saying, asking follow-up questions and keeping the conversation flowing? This level of engagement is a clear indicator that she's invested in the interaction. She's not just making small talk, she's actively trying to create a bond. Even in group settings, if you notice that she finds a way to engage you in conversation, it's a sign that she's drawn to you. She might be talking to several people, but she'll find a way to direct her comments or questions toward you. The Stoic observer would note this as a significant cue. It's her way of creating intimacy in a social situation, subtly carving out moments where it's just the two of you, even if others are around. On the flip side, if you notice that she only speaks when spoken to or doesn't make an effort to continue the conversation, it could mean that her interest isn't as strong. Women who are attracted to you will almost always find a way to keep the dialogue going. So if the conversation keeps flowing, with her driving much of it, take it as a sign that she's waiting for you to engage more deeply. Here's another subtle indicator. If she brings up topics that are meaningful to her or shares personal stories, she's inviting you into her world. This isn't something she'll do with just anyone. By opening up about her life, her experiences, or even her dreams, she's testing whether you're someone who can connect with her on a deeper level. Stoicism teaches us to look beyond the surface, to recognize the intention behind actions, and when she's opening up like this, she's offering you a chance to connect on a much more intimate level. So, what's the takeaway here? If she's consistently finding ways to talk with you, it's not just because she's bored or being polite. It's her way of creating moments of connection, of giving you an opportunity to make a move. Whether it's small talk about the weather or a deeper conversation about her passions, she's opening the door. Your role is to walk through it. Chapter 7. She plays with her jewelry. This is one of the most classic, subtle signs that a woman is attracted to you. When she's fiddling with her necklace, bracelet, or earrings while talking to you, it's more than just a nervous habit, it's a subconscious signal of her interest. Much like how a Stoic would observe the small details in life to find meaning, you need to pay attention to these seemingly insignificant gestures because they reveal a lot more than you might think. Let's break it down. When a woman plays with her jewelry, it's often a sign of nervous energy. But why is she nervous? The answer is simple: because she's attracted to you. Nervousness in this context is a positive thing. It shows that she's a little bit on edge, that she's thinking about how you perceive her. The Stoics believed that every action is rooted in intention, and this act of playing with her jewelry is her body's way of signaling attraction. You often see her lightly tugging on a necklace, spinning a ring, or twirling a bracelet. These movements are instinctual. She's not even fully aware she's doing it, but it's a clear sign that her attention is on you and that she's feeling a little flustered in your presence. This subtle fidgeting is her body's way of processing the attraction she feels toward you, a form of self-soothing that also draws your attention to her. The Stoic observer would recognize this behavior as a form of communication. They would understand that while she's not saying anything overtly flirtatious, her body is speaking for her. Playing with jewelry is a way to draw attention to her, especially to her neck, wrists, and hands, areas that can be particularly alluring. This is an invitation for you to notice her in a more intimate, romantic way. Think about it. She could be sitting there, perfectly composed, but when she starts fidgeting with her necklace or ring, it's a clear shift in behavior. It's a sign that she's feeling a heightened sense of awareness around you. And it's not just any type of awareness, it's the kind that comes from being attracted to someone. She might not be consciously trying to flirt, but her body is showing you that she's feeling something. Another key aspect to watch for is how she plays with her jewelry. Is it a casual touch, or does she seem to be doing it more when she's talking to you specifically? If you notice that her hands start moving toward her necklace or earrings when the conversation gets more personal, that's a huge clue that she's feeling something deeper. It's a signal that she's interested in you, and this subtle movement is her way of expressing that attraction without having to say it out loud. Now, here's where your Stoic insight comes into play. You need to be discerning. Is she doing this just as a nervous habit, or is it something that only happens around you? Context is everything. If you notice that she's always calm and composed around other people, but starts playing with her jewelry when she's near you, that's a powerful sign of attraction. A Stoic would understand that these actions are not random, they have meaning. And that meaning, in this case, is that she's drawn to you. But here's the most important part: don't ignore it. When a woman is playing with her jewelry in your presence, it's a subtle invitation for you to take things further. She's signaling that she's interested, and it's up to you to respond. If you brush it off as meaningless, you risk missing an opportunity to connect with her on a deeper level. Women are often more subtle in their expressions of attraction than men, which is why signs like this are so crucial to understand. When she's fiddling with her necklace or twisting her bracelet, it's not just a random action. It's her body's way of showing that she's intrigued by you, that you're on her mind, and that she's waiting for you to make the next move. The Stoics believed in acting when the time was right, seizing the moment when it presents itself. This is your moment. If she's playing with her jewelry while talking to you, she's giving you a clear sign that she's interested. Now it's up to you to make your move and see where this connection can lead. Understanding these subtle signals is key to knowing when a woman is waiting for you to make a move. The Stoics, with their mastery of human observation, would have recognized these cues as golden opportunities. From the way she points her feet to how she finds excuses to talk to you, every sign is a small invitation. So next time, don't let these moments slip by. Watch closely, and when you see these signs, act decisively. After all, in both life and love, the Stoics believed in seizing the right moment. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own stories in the comments. We want to hear about your experiences and what subtle signs you've noticed.